Hey guys, Jack the foster mom here. Jumping back into the Grimes case. Let's go back to the fire. I'm hearing that the fire happened 3 or 4 years ago. And before the fire, they lived in a pretty nice house. After the fire happened, it sounds like they moved into Paige's family's house and basically split their house where Paige and Mason and the kids slept upstairs and her family slept downstairs. The house was attached to an egg farm where Paige was working. So they lived with Paige's family for a while and then eventually moved into the house on the property where Mason's company is. At some point, and no one really knows why, they moved from the house on the commercial property over to 2 campers back by the lake. And it sounds like that's where they were living until the arrest. I've heard some confirmation of what I was conjecturing about, that after the house fire, there seemed to be a lot more turmoil and struggle within the family. I'm sure part of that just comes from being displaced, but I have seen when people have these big house fires where they lose everything, how that really affects them in their future. And I'm hearing that that may be the case, especially with Paige. Another thing to note is that in recent times, Paige and Mason were not really close with their parents, whereas in years past, the parents had been pretty active in their lives and their kids' lives. Over the past year or so, maybe that wasn't necessarily true. And I'm not sure what caused that, but it definitely sounds like at least Paige wasn't very close with her mom, and Mason's parents lived about an hour away, so they didn't see them too much. Sometimes I've also seen in people's lives when they live with their parents as adults, sometimes that can create tension in the relationship moving forward. So I wonder if after having lived with them, they became less close because it was hard to live with each other. Maybe there was some type of disagreement that led them to not be as close anymore, or maybe people just got busy. Either way, it seems pretty clear that Paige and her parents weren't very close at the time of Zeke's death, and that her parents weren't very active in baby Zeke's life. And since Mason's parents lived so far away, it sounds like none of the grandparents were very active with the kids. So we can't really question why weren't the grandparents stepping in or telling them to do something different or even making reports. I have a lot more to share with you guys. In the meantime, make sure you're following, and I will keep looking into the Grimes case and trying to find answers on what happened to baby Zeke.